people in their day-to-day lives. And let me give you one example of where some of this money is going to be invested. There's a US company called X-Energy. They're going to be working with Exchequer, who own British Gas, and they're going to be investing to build up to 12 advanced modular reactors. That's like small nuclear power stations near Hartlepool. And that's a really important part of creating nuclear energy in the UK. These 12 advanced modular reactors will create enough energy for 1.5 million new homes. 2,500 jobs will go into the manufacturing and the setting up of these new reactors, and it will add billions to the economy. So that's the kind of example where we talk about big numbers, and it's really important to emphasise the sheer scale of this package and what a big vote of confidence is in the British economy. But what it really means to people's lives, there's more jobs, cheaper energy, and making people better off. I would say that we know that a lot of families across the country are finding it tough when it comes to the cost of living. And so what we're doing is focusing on everything we can do to bring costs down and to put more money in people's pockets. So we're doing some actions now, so increasing the national living wage, for instance, extending the bus fare cap, the £3 bus fare cap, extending free school meals to more children in schools. All of that helps immediately, that helps more right now or in the coming months and years. But at the same time, we also need to make sure we're putting the economy on a better track for the medium and long term. We need to make sure we're moving the country in the right direction and building an economy that rewards hard work and makes people better off. So you're absolutely right that we need to do stuff now, and that's why our increase in national living wage and the extension of the bus cap fare that I mentioned is so important. But at the same time, it's also crucial that we grow our economy, and that's why what Chancellor Rachel Reeves is saying day one in office: economic stability, economic growth, investment, is what we need to get our country in a better place. And that's what the £150 billion investment that we're speaking about today is so crucial to delivering. No, sorry, can I just jump in? Can I just jump in there? Sorry, can I just jump in there? Sorry, can I just jump in there? Because in the first half of this year, we were the fastest growing economy in the G7. Now, do we want to grow more? Yes, of course we do. Yes, of course we do. But look at what we're doing to get the economy in a better place. Because it's not just about stabilising the public finances. That is absolutely crucial. That's the bedrock when we can boost investment and put money into public services and get our economy in a better place. It's also about reforming the way the country works. So over the last year, we've been overhauling the planning system. A planning system which stands in the way of so much development and growth in this country. We're making it easier to build homes and infrastructure, and we know that the changes we've made to the planning system will not only boost the number of homes that we're building, but will also increase the size of the economy and put more money in people's pockets. Yeah. let me give your viewers the strongest encouragement or reassurance that I can. And what I'll say is that the Chancellor has been speaking since she got into office about the importance of her fiscal rules. Now, fiscal rules might sound abstract, and people might question, well, what relationship does fiscal rules have to me in my life? But actually, fiscal rules are how you keep a tight grip on public spending. And having that tight grip on public spending is crucial to bringing down inflation and bringing down the cost of borrowing. And that's what we're doing. That's why we're taking the decisions that we are taking. That's why strong public finances are so important. It's because it helps to bring down inflation and bring down the cost of borrowing, making a real difference in people's lives. Well, look, I'm not going to put a timetable on it right now because we're focused every day. Because we're focused every day, and as our Chancellor and all of us in the Treasury and across government are getting inflation down. And look, the Chancellor has spoken to all of her cabinet colleagues and said, look, everyone in the government needs to focus on getting inflation down, and that's why the whole government, not just the Chancellor doing it through the Treasury, as crucial as that role is, it's also all of our cabinet colleagues. We all need to play a part in getting inflation down. We know that inflation is making having an impact on families across the country. We know that a lot of families are finding life tough, and that's why every day in government we're focused on getting those costs down and putting more money in people's pockets. It's intensely frustrating these last-minute attempts to frustrate the deportations from going ahead. We've got people detained, ready to be deported, and we want them to be deported imminently. Now, you asked if we're challenging what's happened in the last couple of days. Absolutely. The Home Secretary made very clear that she will fight every step of the way. She will stand up for the British public's interests in court. Because she's determined, as we all are in government, for these deportations to go ahead. It's very frustrating to have these last-minute, vexatious attempts to stop it from going ahead. You can know from the Home Secretary, Melania Trump, how determined she is, on behalf of all of us as a government, to make sure that these deportations go ahead imminently. And that's why she's standing up for the British people and fighting this every step of the way. So what I mean by that? Yeah, so what I mean by that is people who've been detained pending them being deported, and so they're being detained. So we know there are people there who we want to get on those flights as quickly as possible, want to go ahead imminently. As I said, there's been this legal process in the last couple of days, which is intensely frustrating. It's really frustrating for all of us in government because we want to get on with implementing this deal, and that's why the Home Secretary has been clear on behalf of the government, and we're challenging this, fight this every step of the way to make sure that these flights can go ahead.
So this is some early material from watercolours and marquees in the centre, which is the first history of humanities. These are the original fruits. This is the
the library's full of wonderful, delicious grapes. They say good.
Thank you.
And that would have been
So we have some examples of Georgian papers from the Royal Archives. These just aren't really relate to the American we have a couple of letters from the This one in particular, he's seen that war is inevitable.
Oh, well, that's great. You called it.
So these are one of the natural history illustrations.
The maps, do you
Yeah, the map showed two particular conflicts.
you see the letters? John Adams, first question. Oh, it's fantastic. This is so fantastic. Moves from
Yes.
Cutting-edge transatlantic communication.
This is the original.
In the 19th century, British and American entrepreneurs and engineers laid the cable and Victoria's century under the Atlantic on the cable.
That's great.
Ticker tape.
That was the beginning, right?
That was the beginning of communication.
Yeah, but that's it.
This is very touching. The letter of condolences that President Lincoln sent to Willie.
That is so amazing. Yeah. That is real. That's the real deal.
It is, and it's defining the special relationship for the very first time. In 1939, the first visit by RAF Halton in the United States. And then you have a couple of maps here which show a couple of critical battles in the war. And this is the final battle of the War of Independence where the British laid down their arms and defeated the
Oh, they're that side.
How long would it take for these letters to reach the city?
Well, these letters received the
They were written in terms.
yes. This here is an essay.
Still going strong. This gentleman.
Is that actually the original?
It is the original ribbon.
So how is this stored?
How does it work? Well, with a very special box wound around it. But you will probably work out the ways each letter is inked. They just can spot the letters. It's an attempt to re-establish
The whole message.
It will probably be these three.
That's one message.
Very well.
So this has to be stored in a special.
So we want to remember it, they want to get
That will come out.
Is that us?
This is a very touching letter sent by President
British Navy or somebody else?
French American. In a very verbose, but it is quite going out of his way to say, normally as soon as they really upset. Tried to look for different things that America would be a better trading partner.
I remember a long time ago the boys owning the land. It's there that we used to
that was the case.
Yeah, it's probably a memory. Here we have
just inconvenience. Really upset that America had been long too many times wasn't able to do a trade yeah, early on this.
Monica did that in her previous flight.
Good morning. Yes, we are all hovering here, tons of media, because the US President will arrive at Chequers, the Prime Minister's country home, later this morning. Of course, he had the most incredible time, didn't he, at Windsor? Those photographs of him stood beaming from ear to ear with the King and the Queen, and him saying that it was truly one of the highest honours of his life. So all that to put him in the best possible mood for conversations here, talks about trade. The government very keen to trumpet this £150 billion of US investment coming our way, lots of it to do with AI. Of course, we don't know what we're going to have to give in return for that yet. Also, of course, the thorny issue of steel and aluminium tariffs. We expected those to have gone by now. It was announced months ago. They're still at 25%. They seem to be stuck there, but Donald Trump did say, but just before he got on a plane the other day, I'm into helping them. So they will be hoping. Number 10 have just told me there are still negotiations ongoing about those. Also, they'll be talking about Ukraine and Gaza. They would like, the government would like much more movement from Donald Trump on those. And then, of course, there will be the press conference, and I think that really is the moment of peril for the Prime Minister. He's had a very, very rocky couple of weeks. He will want it to go well, but Donald Trump, let's face it, loves the cameras, loves to freewheel. You do not know what he's going to say. And there's a couple of things that I think could prove very tricky. Free speech is one of them. MAGA seems to be very concerned about free speech in this country. That could be tricky. And also, of course, the E word. Jeffrey Epstein. Only last week, the Prime Minister was forced to sack our US Ambassador Peter Mandelson over his links to Epstein. There's also awkward questions for Trump that he does not want to answer. I think it's a dead cert that will be raised, so that could be very difficult this afternoon. We will have a snap analysis of the state visit on our GB News newsletter. To get that, just scan the QR code on screen or go to gbnews.com/news-newsletter.
As you say, a 25-year-old Eritrean man has managed to block his removal at least for 14 days so that he can provide evidence that he is, as he claims, a victim of modern-day slavery. A little earlier on this programme, we asked James Murray, who is the Chief Secretary to the Treasury, about this. Well, the government has intimated strongly that they planned all week to get flights taking off for France. That clearly hasn't happened so far. They will hope that this appeal gets fast-tracked and this particular Eritrean man can be sent to France. But more generally, this has become a test, I think, of the government's competence on such a fraught issue, which of course bedeviled their Conservative predecessors. And are those flights going to take off this week? Well, the government still says so. It's Thursday. Cheers. Thanks. I'm assuming I'm not wanted by the channel because all the way through that was quite distracting. The channel was playing a clip of my 7 here. No, I wasn't hearing it. I just mean I could see my own mug down there.
Have you got a picture?
Yeah, sure. Thanks very much.
Black balance.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Thank you. Cool. So, same at 9, yeah?
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. I hope there might be some breakfast. Why don't you go down? What it sounds like any pizza.
Yeah. Right. Hello again, Nick. Should I say hello again? Can I say hello again? Hello again, Nick. Yeah, that's right. So a former Labour councillor has been charged with blackmail and 5 communications offences in relation to a total of 85 victims working within politics in connection to the Westminster and Oliver Stedman, he's the former councillor I was just talking about. He's 28. He's been charged with 1 count of blackmail in relation to alleged unwarranted demands for the telephone numbers of up to 12 individuals, and he faces 4 other communications offence charges in relation to 4 other victims relating to the sending of alleged unsolicited indecent images. So today's charges yesterday. So yesterday's charges come after the so-called Westminster case. Westminster men aged between 18 to 40 years old, some aged between 18 to 40 in and around politics.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. That's right.
The messages often claims that this person out here, Charlie picking up the person they were messaging before you intended. In some cases, after the person began. Callum, you've been messaging. Sorry, I can't answer.
Anyway, isn't it? Actually,